Hi, my name is Maddie Chernick, and this is my fifth. This is my discussion board post response. The first question is, how can organizers ensure that marginalized voices are centered in a campaign or cause? Organizers can ensure that marginalized voices are centered in a campaign or cause by allowing for those community members to have front-facing roles of the organization. And what I mean by that is people who are doing the speaking, making decisions, if they choose to do so, of course. The people who are at risk of their voices being talked over are the ones who should be made the loudest by ensuring that they have at least an equal share of the decisions being made and have the opportunity to have their faces and voices be the faces and voices mainly seen and heard in the movement, meaning they should have the opportunity to be public-facing people if they wish. We should also be careful to always think and ask before acting. People need to have meetings and talk to those at risk of being talked over before any major decisions are made or actions are taken. Meaning that we shouldn't just make decisions and then hope that they're okay with it. Things need to be talked over. They need to have, an equal share in that process, and we need to make sure that we're listening and hearing what they're saying, even if they're not necessarily agreeing with what we originally thought. The second question is, how does the media influence the success or failure of community organizing efforts? The media has had a huge role in influencing the success or failure of an organization. Going viral online is one of the best ways to get word out about the movement, and it allows for people to spread the word quickly and effectively. Social media also allows people to make virtual donations. Without social media, people were limited to mail-in or in-person donations for organizations. Social media is also very hot and cold. 1 minute the organization could be getting lots of great publicity and be growing bigger by the second. And then the next day the organization is being canceled for whatever reason, and supporters are pulling out, volunteers are dropping, and money is drying up. Social media can be insanely helpful, or it can be the thing that quickly extinguishes the fire of the movement in one post. How can community organizers effectively raise funds and resources for their cause in today's media-savvy field? I kind of touched on this above a little without knowing that this would be the next question, but as I kind of started talking about above, social media and technology are giving people so many new opportunities and methods to make donations. With online donations being available, people who may otherwise be unable to donate are now able to help virtually without leaving their homes. So if an old person wanted to donate to an organization and they're unable to make meetings or fundraisers, they can send in a donation virtually, which is very helpful. Social media also allows for the organizations to make commercials or propaganda that is maybe a little sad or tugs at the heartstrings. They can put that out on the internet and then use it as, I don't want to say bait, but I guess use it as bait to get people to donate to the cause. Sorry, someone just screamed outside. Think of a sad animal shelter commercial with all of the sick puppies. I know I always feel sad and want to help out when I see one of those, so organizations are able to use people's emotions to make posts and get people to contribute. What strategies can be used to counter opposition from groups with more financial or political power? When another group has more financial or political power and they are on the opposing side, compromise is always a great option to try and start with. If both sides are able to be respectful of each other and understand what each side is trying to accomplish, then an adequate compromise may be what saves each side the time and effort of fighting. If compromise doesn't work and we are sure we want to fight for our side, we'll have to come up with some sort of strategy to try and outmaneuver them. One strategy could be playing the numbers game, meaning they may be more financially stable, but we could get more people involved, get the people sympathetic to our cause, get a large following on social media, and give ourselves more social power rather than financial power. And sometimes that can have a bigger impact than money can. Okay, last question. And sorry, I feel like I've been sniffling this whole video, so my bad. Allergy season. Anyway, how can technology and social media be both an advantage and a challenge in organizing? Social media can be an advantage because it is so easy to reach such large groups of people over the internet. It allows people to decide how much physical effort they want to put into helping the movement. They can run in-person meetings or make a lot of in-person efforts, or someone can just remotely run a social media account, or people can just share posts from the movement, reshare posts from the movement, comment, like, subscribe, follow. It requires little effort, but it still helps spread the word and helps the movement gain a following and gain traction and start the whole thing on a good foot. Social media can be challenging in community movements because it can be difficult to organize a large number of people over multiple social media platforms, rather than just have everyone meet in person to discuss what should or needs to happen. It can also be very deceitful sometimes. You can edit posts online, you can change things, you can do whatever you want. You can use AI, like sometimes everything you see on the internet isn't true, so sometimes it's hard to know what you can trust. Also, people are able to make hate comments, hide their faces, hide their identities while they're doing that, and then that can really hurt the movement, because if you're looking at a post and you see a bunch of negative comments of people hating on the movement, are you really going to want to join that? Even if the comments are just, people on the internet saying stuff to say stuff, it can still make an impact. Thank you.